Welcome to Collecting Consciousness, where we aim to capture the ever-expanding and evolving conscious creations that originate from the minds of fellow podcasters, strangers, dear friends, and loved ones.
In this podcast, we will expand on our inner wisdom and a coming home to self. From our conscious minds to yours, we welcome you to the Collecting Consciousness.
So welcome back to another episode of Collecting Consciousness within our Burlesque Series. And today we have someone that you all and I know probably pretty well at this point. Courtney is sitting in the hot seat today, and her persona in the burlesque world is Factory Girl. And so let me introduce to you Factory Girl, someone that we might not know that well. So Factory Girl is an inspiration of vintage. She has a seducing, intimate nature through her dance, embodiment, and strut. Her classic vintage pieces are carefully chosen through whatever emotion or feeling through whatever emotion or feeling is being embodied. She is here to inspire others to bring out their authentic nature by letting their art shine. She will mesmerize you with her fashion and seducing ways. So let's get close to Factory Girl. Yay!
Hello.
Hello. And we would have never been doing this series if it wasn't for Factory Girl, because she is the gateway into the burlesque world for me. And and that's where the series was birthed from, going to see her first performance, which was such an honor. And so I guess what we'd like to start with is, where did this journey begin for you? Because I guess that was my first question when I feel like I should go off the questions that I had in my mind when I was watching you perform. I was like,
yes, 100%.
Wait a second. I talk to Courtney almost every week or so, How did this happen? How did this happen? And that story is very cool. And I think that story of how this happened for you is actually like the part that I was like, wow, okay. Anyway,
yeah.
How that happened.
So, well, it's kind of, I've talked about it on the last few episodes of the podcast where I had a weekend. I was supposed to go away for a sound healing retreat, and that got postponed. And I was like, I know something important is supposed to happen this weekend. So I got invited to a speakeasy party, and oh my gosh, that speakeasy party is just like, when I was there, I was like, this is just what I want to do for the rest of my life. I just want to have parties where we bring in creative artists and they just let themselves show whatever art that they are doing. So I went to this party. It was just, there was a room that was just a red light. So it was like a red light cabaret. And it was for my friend's 40th birthday party. And I was like, yeah, I'll bring my hula hoop. But then I wasn't really feeling it. And then she was, bring it anyways. So I did. And I got dressed up in my velvet, because Factory Girl loves to be in velvet. Mm-hmm. And I hula hooped. And it was so beautiful. Like, it was so fun. It was so me. It was just like, I am a person that is always dancing. Like, I'm constantly by myself in my house, having my hula hoop, candles lit, music going, singing and dancing. And I got to showcase that, all this practice, all this energy that I had within me, I got to showcase it at this party. And so, after my performance, they were like, whoa, they're like, can you do another one? And I was like, yeah, sure. And so the first song I hula hooped to was Love Street by The Doors. And then the next one was Mac Miller, Small Worlds. And I sang to the crowd while I hula hooped. And, after the party, you're chatting, you're getting to know people. And there was this one girl named Jacinda. And she owns a burlesque company. And she was telling me, she was like, have you ever thought about doing burlesque? And I was like, honestly, yeah. I've always wanted to showcased my hula hooping dance, and I like Plan Z has always been hula hooping stripper. That's my Plan Z. And honestly, I think Plan Z is actually happening. I do pole dancing classes. Like it's, anyways. Long story short, Jacinda and I were chatting, and she told me that the books were closed for this upcoming burlesque performance, and I was like, dang. But she said, but if anybody drops out, like I'll be sure to let you know. Nobody dropped out, but maybe like 2 weeks later, Nick was like, hey, do you want to do a duet with me in the burlesque show? And I was like, yes, absolutely. No question about it. Yes. And so me and Nick already had the song Freak by Doja Cat. And I went over to her house and we just started creating our dance. And so we would be very intentional creating the dance, setting up intention, setting the space, and it was really fun to create. But in Doja Cat, there's a song that's sampled with it, and it's a song that I hula hoop to all the time. And I was like, oh man, it would be so cool if I could, like, after that song, go into the actual Paul Anka Put Your Head on My Shoulders song. I was like, I wonder if Jacinda would be down for that. And Nick is like, oh, well, I have X amount of minutes, so we're good to throw that in there. So I reached out to Jack and was like, hey, do you mind if we flow into another song and then I do my hula hooping? And she's like, yeah, totally, as long as it stays under this amount of time. And I was like, yep, cool. And that's how it got created, through a speakeasy party of creative artists just doing salsa dancing, doing rap, doing poetry, doing hula hooping, doing song, like just letting an art out, letting my art shine and be my authentic self allowed me to get the invitation to go be in a burlesque performance.
That's what I thought was so cool when I learned that. I was like, because I thought maybe like what I had thought of the burlesque thing was like, oh, it was some kind of a group that you joined and like you were doing classes, and through the class, like that's how the story I made up in my mind about it was like, you do these classes and through the classes you get the spot in the show. But it's like, no, it's so much bigger than that. It was all just this alignment and this like, this alignment of showing up and like being your divine self and like being in that, right place, right time, following your heart, like all the things. I was like, that is even cooler.
It just gave me shivers just then.
Yeah, that it was all in alignment. That's what I thought was, that like really was what I thought was so special about it all. Because I was like, wow, this is, like meant to be. It was so meant to be.
It was cool because, just like a little side note, there was some people at that party that were in the performance. And so when Jacinda was like doing my introductory of Factory Girl, I didn't really hear it, but I did hear something about a party, and so there was people in there that went to the party, so it felt even more intimate to them because they were like, I saw her, I was at that party, I watched her do that, and now she got a gig out of it.
Yeah.
So it is really divine, it is really aligned, and it really is something special. And for me, that's just a confirmation of follow your fucking heart. Because when you follow your heart, those opportunities do come in, and trusting the timing of your life. Like when you have these visions, we often are like, okay, well, I want it now, but we need to curate, we need to like inspire, we need to allow that energy just to get the momentum, but trusting that everything is falling into place. So it truly was something really, really special for me.
That's so sweet. And so like speaking on the curation part, like has it, like give us a little history of like the development of you being a performer. Like I kind of have a little privy to your like hula hooping journey, but just like the confidence to like get up on stage, like has that always been in you? Like have you, like, you know what I mean? Just give us a little backstory. Like,
and honestly, I've always been a performer, and so I'll just date back, like there's going to be multiple things that'll all kind of date back. You know me, like the old this way, that way. So you know, when I was a kid, Mom used to take me around for Michael's auditions for his music, and they tried to get me to sing one time, and I was a little bit shy, and I think I was just like really put on the spot, like I didn't come through. But it was like they wanted me to sing a Lion King song, and I did horribly. But then, like, you know, fast forward to now, I'm doing vocal lessons. First song ever was the Lion King. So like synchronicity right there, that okay, it didn't happen then, but it's happening now. So now I'm gonna rewind again. So like at a young age, there was a moment of me like getting out to do some sort of performance. And then I became a cheerleader when I did gymnastics and I did cheerleading from my young adolescence until like my teenage years. And so I was on stage. And like that feeling of going on stage, you know, when you were just about to go on stage waiting, that was always the most nervous wrecking part for me. Those nerves when you're just like, you're behind, you know, you're up next. But then when I got on stage, everything just melted away, and I always loved being on stage. So I did cheerleading for years, and then I took a hiatus from cheerleading. And then when I got in when I found hula hooping was at a music festival, immediately fell in love with it. And I would just spend my days hula hooping. Like everybody that knew me knew that I hula hooped. Like that was a staple. Like, hi, my name's Courtney Waterman and I'm a hula hooper. Like, like it was funny. I was hanging out with some people last year and I brought up hula hooping. They're like, you and your damn hula hoop. But so when in my early 20s, I did perform at a few things. Like anytime I'd see something in the city, I would go and do a performance. But I never really allowed that name to kind of, you know, that essence of me being a performer come through. I did German Wheel. German Wheel is a circus. It's not just it's a gymnastics. There's different styles. You have the circus, Cirque du Soleil, German Wheel, but then you have like the competitive gymnastics art of it as well. So my coach was she's like the number 2 German wheelist in the world, Julia Poling. Just gotta shout that out. But I did German Wheel for years. I was going to audition for the Cirque du Soleil school in Quebec, École. That never fell through. That never happened. I got into my massage career, and then that, you know, led me there. So I have had many different times where I have been a performer, but I never really kind of followed through with it. I do little performances here and there and be done with it. But now in my days now, that's what I want. Like, that is what I'm calling for. Like, I am doing vocal lessons. I am doing dance lessons. I am doing burlesque shows. Like, that is this, when I got onto the stage at the burlesque show, it was, again, so magical, and everything just melted away. Like, in a sense, I kind of blacked out because it was just like the lights were so bright. Like, this was definitely the most theatrical type of performance I've ever done. And like really like shining the light on you, because a lot of the things I did, German Wheel, cheerleading, all very group settings. So this was very like, here's Factory Girl. Yeah. So that's my performance in a nutshell.
Yeah, tell us about Factory Girl. Like, where did that drop? Where did that drop in, and how did that come to fruition? That
came pretty easily for me. After me and Nick were practicing for the Lost Vixens, I came home that night, and that was after I decided I was going to do a solo. I was like, okay, what does my name have to be? And I meditated for literally like less than 5 minutes, and immediately a ping came to my mind, and it was like Factory Girl. Obviously, Factory Girl. And why do I say obviously? But Factory Girl, I sell vintage, and my brand is called Factory L Vintage. Factory L meaning Factory Girl. And Factory Girl is an inspiration of mine, an idol of mine, icon, Edith Sedgwick. She was in Andy Warhol's factory scene back in the 60s. She was a muse. She had this like you know, we always, me and Edie always wear the biggest of earrings. We wear stripes. Like, our fashion has always been so similar. I've read many books on Edie, and I found Edie when I was 14 years old. And immediately after, when I found this movie, I was like, wow, this is like, I'm obsessed with this person. I need to know everything about this person. So the books that I've read, it's been so funny because we're so similar. There's so many similarities between Edith Sedgwick and I can go into a long story, but I won't. But long story short, you know, sometimes I think I'm Edith Sedgwick in a reincarnation. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, you know, I'll get into that another time. But
she died young.
She died young, and one of the last things that I read recently that stuck out with me is that she was always seeking an enlightened mind, and she was always putting her faith in these like gurus and people and like and blindly, but her goal was always to become this enlightened mind. And I think that like I'm now on the journey with that enlightened mind, where I do have that conscious mind, where I know that it comes from within. You know, she was often seeking external, and she had a hard life, and, you know, drug addiction, and, you know, just a lot of pain in her life. So I think that like I'm on the other end of on the other side, living that life that she was seeking. So, and like, honestly, our fashion is the same. Our personality is the same. Like, we are both very muse, quirky, unique individual. And so that's like Factory Girl is Edie Sedgwick, and that's who I am, Factory Girl. So if you followed me, was that clear?
I'm taking it, and I'm even expanding on it. Like, if we go up to like, you know, we go up to our highest self, you know, our higher self that lives out there in the realms that are like in the highest dimension where all of consciousness exists. Right. Like, you very well are a channeled version, fracture of Edith Sedgwick, who is a part of the fabric of the eternal consciousness that exists, that we tap into. So like
100%. And those muses, those inspirations that I get are like her being like, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? 100%. I love that. I really do love that. I dig it.
I mean, reincarnation is just a little left turn here for a second.
It is a left turn.
Reincarnation road, but like reincarnation, it's a Buddhist philosophy of life and how we got here. I mean, but there are so many iterations of what we could believe we are, what we could believe our consciousness is in this embodiment, you know? And so like that, you know, maybe not reincarnated as a single being, but like channeling the many,
an energy,
and maybe one more than others, like, you know, and maybe fractures of many, like, I don't know, you know, like, we don't know.
And also it's like whatever you feel, go with it. If it feels right in your soul, then take it. And it's like also these you know how you can jump timelines so quickly when you get this concept that seeds into your body, when you feel something resonating, changes who you are. So it's like we can be hopping on different timelines, many different, like so quickly, so like on so many, you can tap into so many different avenues if that's what you seek. And so if one thing is calling to me here, but another thing is calling to me there. Oh, and a little side note with that thing, it's like this obsession that I've had with New York City. Again, went to New York City when I was 14. I've been to New York City like 9-10 times. And like New York City is me. When I go to New York City, something sits into me and I'm like, yep, here, I'm home. And that's where Edith Sedgwick was living for some time in her life during the Andy Warhol scene. So like, why do I have this crazy affinity for New York City? Why do I have this crazy affinity for Edith Sedgwick? Like, I'm looking at 2 books right now of Edith Sedgwick. So it's just like, yes, like we can be tapping into this energy, this higher frequency, whatever you want to call. And it's like, if you feel it, if you believe it, go with it. Cause it's who you are. It's what is making you feel right. So yeah, Factory Girl, she is a vintage loving. So coming from the 60s, I am always going to be pulling the the vintage classics of whatever I'm feeling. You're often going to see me in velvet because that's my most favorite piece. But it's 60s inspired. It's Edith Sedgwick inspired. It's New York inspired. It's sexy. It's muse like. It is mesmerizing. That's who Factory Girl is in a nutshell.
It's true. It's really true. It felt that way. Just the energy on stage that you cultivated, where you were just like this silver hoop in this like gorgeous dress and just like spinning and twirl. Like, it was beautiful. It was mesmerizing. It was mesmerizing. Like, and what I loved about it is that it did offer a different twist than every other act. Like, it offered a completely different twist. So I thought that was so cool. I felt like it was just a totally unique performance. Did you decided to do this show and be in this burlesque show? Was there any obstacles that you had to overcome, like any like fears or like worries or like any? So
it's interesting because like during the whole time of like doing the art, creating the dance, I felt no nerves. I was like, I'm getting out on, and I'm just going to dance on stage. And if I mess up, I mess up, and that's totally fine because people don't really see your mess ups. You just roll with it. And it's also part of the art to be, just like Shady Sugar said, it is an art to be able to, in the moment, add to it. Like, this mess up creates part of the dance, and how can you adapt to something? So I had no quims or qualms. I was like, oh yeah, whatever, totally cool. Went to a burlesque class the week before, met a couple of the girls, and again, they were like, how you feeling? I was like, feeling really excited. And then come the sound tech. So right before, we're making sure the songs are online, making sure everything, we're working out what you need to work out. That's sound tech. And I felt the nerves. I was like, oh, whoa. I was like, did I practice my duet enough? I feel very nervous. So there was like the slight panic, but also I'm at this stage in my conscious mind where I'm like, okay, you're fine. Anytime I feel a fear within myself, I tell myself I am fine and I am capable to do anything. So that's one thing that always gets me through my fears, and it gets me able to step into my fears. So yes, there were nerves, and then so I was talking to the girls after, and they were just like, that's normal, that behind the scenes when things are real, it's not that you're being judged, but it's like you are in a room with the people that are going on stage. So it's more like it feels more vulnerable to showcase to your colleagues,
peers,
your peers and colleagues, and so that put a spotlight on my sensation, and no comparison came, but I can see how one would be like, oh, I could have done this. I should have done this. But I said, what we have created is beautiful and great. So after that, then just going on behind, waiting to go on stage, again, those nerves come up because it's that performance, and that's, I knew that was normal. And then once I got on stage, everything just melted. Now, I did mess up. There was time, it was so funny because the things that we never messed up on, but it's just, you're in that energy, you're in that, the spotlight is on you. I can barely see anybody. You can see like the people pretty close to you, but other than that, the lights are so bright, the music's going, things just kind of melt. So in one sense, there were things that I was just like, in the heat of the moment, I just was like, I forgot what I had to do. And I was like, oh shit, I'm supposed to be down on the ground right now with Nick. And then so I like get down. But what I did, I adapted. Because again, fuck it. If I mess up, fuck it.
Yeah.
This truly is an art for you guys. Like, this is a gift. A gift to give you guys. So in my mind, the only mishaps or adaptions just had to be in the moment with no fucks given.
I think that's beautiful. And one other thing that you said, like, was having your peers on you, your peers' eyes, and it gives you, I think, like, the opportunity and the choice to either feel judged and conform, or what you did, stay true to who you are and just amplify it. Like, and I think that's like a cool little nugget to take with you anywhere in life, because like there's so many places that we're around our peers or people that could judge us, that like, you know, lots of places, people we look up to, like even in our family, like people that you may like want to impress or want to be this, that, or the other. So it's like really cool to take those. Well, this is a really cool place to be able to practice staying so true to you and like amplifying you, and not being like, oh, I could do that because they did that and it looks cool, or like, you know, that's a really cool invitation to sharpen to sharpen
honoring of self.
To honor ourselves, and to just amplify who we are and stay true to who we are.
I also think on the other side of the coin too, it can also help you practice taking constructive criticism if you want, if you're trying, you know, like, because sometimes people don't take criticism well. And they think it's more of an attack on who they are or whatever. But I think it's also a good time, you know, being new, or if you just want to say, hey, honestly, guys, how did you feel about my performance? Was, you know, showing where you may be weak and where you can learn and grow and become an even better performer as well by getting constructive criticism. And so I think there's multiple coins to that, you know, honoring self and being true to yourself, but also being open-minded to hear what your peers truly think about that performance.
Yeah, totally. That too. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's so cool. Yeah, it reminds me, like, when you talk about going out on the stage, like when I was like had a micro experiences as a dancer as a young kid, like I would forget everything. Like I was awful, and I was the one that was like staring at the girl next to me, trying to like remember the dance.
That's so cute.
Like I was definitely like,
how old?
I was aware. I danced probably until I was like 10.
That's so cute.
Like
that's
jazz, like I never paid attention. I never really understood the beat. I never understood any of it. So like especially when we went out on stage, I just look at the girl next to me. Like,
I love that. Are there videos of that? We need footage of that.
I'm sure. Carlene, my dance teacher, I still remember her name because I was not her favorite.
She got mad at you. I was going to say she definitely got mad at you.
I was like the thorn in her side because she was an older lady that had been dancing. I mean, she was like this, you know what I mean? Perfect dancer.
Yeah, strict, very strict. Like some dancers want that. There's an art to it. Like Shady was saying too, on the like, you have to get these moves on the beat.
Yeah.
And you're there looking at the kid.
I did not hear the beat. She'd counted. I'm like, counting? I don't even know. Yeah. It was
that's funny. So I love that.
I can relate to that. When you get on stage, you're just like, I don't even remember what I'm supposed to be doing.
Honestly, it was so funny. I was like, these are the parts that I'm like, were grained in my system that we were hitting every single time. And I'm just like, what is happening? But again, I thought it was it was fun to adapt in those moments and also not show it on the face, because I felt very confident in my energy being on stage. I did not feel any sort of nerves when I was on the stage. I was just letting that art, that medicine come through.
Thank you for tuning in to Collecting Consciousness.
We're so grateful that you've been on this journey with us so far.
And we look forward to seeing where we are going to expand, curate, and collect.
So if you haven't already liked, subscribed, or shared our content, and you feel called to do so, we would so deeply appreciate it. From our souls to your soul, and our hearts to your minds. We are collecting consciousness.
Heck yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I could feel that. That's awesome. It's important. That's a huge part of it. So like, give me a little glimpse into the future of this burlesque journey and what you hope for, and where you want to take it.
I've already applied for 2 other performances. I really, really hope I get them both. One is in the city, and one is in Toronto in November. And it was very cool because when I applied for the one in Toronto, when I finished it and hit send, it was 11/11. And you know me, I'm very much like sign looking often. Also don't want to jump ahead of myself and count my eggs, but I feel it, and I just want to keep performing that's why I'm doing vocal lessons, just because I love to sing and I want to fine tune my instrument and see where my voice is. My voice is taking me in new places, higher places, and I have even I have dreams with the hula hooping and song. And so, yeah, there are potentially 2 performances happening with 2 performances happening, but then also there's going to be some more auditions for Moncton. There's going to be 2 other burlesque shows in Moncton at the end of the year. And I'm going to apply for those, and Factory Girl is not stopping. And also Lost Vixens. Anytime Nick wants to do a duet, I am here, because I think it's just a different flip on, collaborating with somebody, because our dance was mix of Hurricane Rosa and a mix of Factory Girl. She brought this, I brought that, and we intertwined it. And I was talking to a client that came to support me, and she had mentioned, she goes, you could really see the chemistry between the 2 of you, and you could also see that you 2 were 2 stark difference, like even in the same movements we were doing, there still was 2 different energies, but we had good chemistry. So I thought that was a really nice little confirmation to keep doing those things as well, because it's a different style from just doing something I'm so confident in my dance and my hula hooping. Been doing this for so long, and now doing something with a group again, doing something with a collaborative. It's getting me to challenge myself in other ways.
I love it. And so when you say the city, do you mean like in Moncton? Like you applied for one in Moncton and then one in Toronto? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then the Talent New Brunswick group that you just did the performance with is just like a subgroup in the Moncton area, like, or what?
Exactly. So when we get Jacinda on, we'll hear more about Talent NB. But Jacinda, typically, she had mentioned to me they typically do 4 shows a year, but this year they're not doing 4 shows this year. But there's going to be 2 more shows, so that there's 3 shows this year. So whenever it's typically like a Halloween one, a Christmas one, potentially a summer one, I would be assuming, because we just had a winter style one, and Valentine's actually, but so there's typically 4, and it's through whenever she rents out of space, and she just calls in the dancers, you call in the you apply for it, and however many she can take, that's what she gets. And I'm really excited just to see where this is going to continue to grow, because I realize that performing is really a quintessential part of who I am. And like I said earlier in the episode, I never followed through with it in my early years, but now I'm like, no, this truly is my joy. This is what lights me up. This is what inspires me. This is what I curate. Like, I have a curation within me and art that wants to come out. So I'm excited to see where it's going to grow. I'm excited to see where it's going to expand. And yeah, so stay tuned.
Cool. And then have there been any surprises in the journey? That's just one other thing I was curious about. Is there anything about it that surprised you, like by joining a burlesque group or being a part of the burlesque world? Like, is there anything that, yeah.
The empowerment, like when I went to that burlesque class, I was lumped into the group of the people performing. So in hindsight, it felt like it already felt like I was seasoned. But I said to the girls, to the people that were at this class, I said, this is my first ever burlesque performance, and I'm really excited, blah, 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 blah. And at the ending, us four people that were burlesque dancers got to have our own little moment to shine, and everybody just started chanting Factory Girl, and I was like, my heart melted, and I was just like, wow, the support and the empowerment that already happened. I just thought that was so beautiful, because you can go into spaces where you do feel judged for showing up as your authentic self because you're making people uncomfortable. So I'm used to that feeling. So being in a room where they wanted to see your shine, where they wanted you to just flaunt yourself, really just sat deep and sat beautiful in my heart. And then another thing that kind of surprised me, in a sense, not like surprise, but just like, again, more of like melting of my heart, softening into my heart, is when I've always wanted to dress up as like a drag queen, just, get in the hair, the makeup, the beautiful fashion. So I have like a vision that maybe I'll hire somebody on my birthday and get full glam. But then I realized when I was backstage, when I was behind the scenes of us all getting ready, and they were like, girls are in the mirror doing their makeup and their hair, and they're talking and they're having their little soft, tender moments. I watched a RuPaul Drag Race, and I was like, this is these moments. Yeah. I'm living that. I'm actually living that. Like, I'm not a drag queen, but I am, like, I always want to call us queens, and I think we're queens, we're goddesses, we're whatever you want yourself to be. But I was like, this is it. This is that feeling that I was seeking. And it just really allowed me to sit back and just admire. So I was like behind the scenes taking photos of us all. I did a couple of like videos too. And it's just, it was really special to be in that support, to be in that empowerment, to be in that wanting authenticity. And it just felt so good to my soul. So I just I want all of this all of the time.
I think that's the part for me. That's the only part that I really want. I think that sounds the most like dreamy of it all, is just to have those moments where, we're all like beautifying each other up and just like loving each other up, because I feel like there's like a little part of all of us girls that like want that, it takes us back to like when we were little girls and we had sleepovers and you were just having fun and like chit-chatting, even just the chit-chat of like, and just like, it's just awesome. I think that's the only part about the whole thing that I'm like, I want that. I just want to be backstage. I just want to
Bethany's always here for the chit-chat. She loves the chit-chat. It was funny because I always loved two things. Well, Bethany and her chit-chat. Me and my friend went to Maine last summer, and me and Toots were on the bed chatting. It was after the show, and you mentioned the next day, you were like, oh, I so wanted to get out of bed and have that chit chat with you guys. You were like, I was loving it. I was listening to you guys while you were on the bed. It was so nice. And then fast forward to after the burlesque show, I went out that night, and then I came back and I go upstairs, and Bethany, I turned on the lights, and right in bed, I can see Bethany's eyes wide open, and I was like, oh, she'd be down for a chat right now.
I was so down. We chatted so much after the show. I was like,
you did. You were on the bed with us. You stayed with us for a good bit.
Oh my gosh,
I love
yeah.
it. Chit chat, but that's what it's all about. That's where yeah, like you get to see each other, you soften, you hear what is on someone's heart when you sit in and just give them that space to talk. So I'm here for it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. All right. Any other like nuggets of wisdom that you want to insert about, you know,
Yeah. Okay, I've got one.
about the burlesque world, or, yeah, anything that's just like still on the forefront of your mind?
I'm always gonna lead with step into your heart and allow your heart to really tell you what it wants, because your heart is speaking to you all moments of the day, trying to let the soul really live a soul-led life. And the more you sit in your heart, the more you'll surprise yourself, because, you know, those fears that often do come up are really your soul saying, we've got this. This fear is actually where we want to go. And when you live a heart-led life, you will surprise yourself every day with the things that you are capable of. So my wisdom is to sit into your heart and really allow it to speak and shine. And always try to be yourself, because who you are is perfect. And yeah, be yourself and follow that heart.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And do you have any like are you just posting Factory Girl on your Instagram, or is there anywhere that people can find Factory Girl specifically?
Yeah, so I was thinking about I have a Factory L Vintage Instagram. I was thinking about that was when I was selling vintage. I was thinking about switching it over and just making it my Factory Girl Burlesque. So you can find me at Factory Girl. Factory L Vintage for now. The name will change, but it doesn't matter. If you follow me, you'll be on it. So Factory LELLE Vintage. And you can also follow me on my personal Court Watts 656. Court, COURT WATTS 656 for my personal Instagram. And then my personal Instagram will lead you to all different avenues, because hey, I'm a podcaster. Hey, I'm a healer. Hey, I sell vintage. You would think that I'm not a projector. Somebody was like, oh, you're a generator. And I was like, no, I'm a projector, but these are my crafts. These are my crafts that I have honed in, my energy. So yeah, there's many places to find me, but those two in particular, Factory L Vintage and Court SWAT 656. Please follow me and get the wisdom and the love and the inspiration.
Yeah, thank you all for joining us again, and stay tuned for the rest of the series. We have lots more beautiful women that we're interviewing for this burlesque series. So stay tuned, stay curious, share, follow, like, subscribe, all the things. If you feel called to, we appreciate it. It helps us to feel loved and it helps to get the word out to everybody. Here on Collecting Consciousness, we're just here to collect it all.
And side note, I had a buddy that he does a podcast, and it's blown up. It blew up really quickly. And I was like, Otter, and actually Otter did the photography for the burlesque show. And so I was like, how'd you get it blown up? He was like, oh man, we guerrilla tagged stickers everywhere. So Bethany and I got some stickers made, and I'm actually headed to Massachusetts this weekend. So I'm going to be guerrilla tagging stickers in Boston, in Massachusetts.
Every state along the way.
Literally. Yeah, that's right. That's so true. That's so true. That's so true. That's true. And then also I'm going to head to Halifax. I'm going to fucking go like anywhere we travel. Like, we're going to already have to get new stickers, because we're going to go through these stickers very quickly.
Yeah, I'm giving you the whole stack this time, because I'm like, you could probably...
Really?
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, why not? I mean, you're traveling.
Yeah, and I'll leave you with some though, just so because yeah.
I can
But
order
anyways,
one. But if you see if you see the QR code, scan it and do the thing.
yeah, you got it, Bethany. Thank you. Cool. Bye, guys.
Bye. See you next time.